I'm somewhere that I've never been before. In my head. Hey everybody, so I'm at a park today. I'm at a park that I have never visited before, and I am hoping to walk into the woods and walk around the woods and talk a little bit more about this project that I'm doing here on this channel, because I am so nervous about it. I'm frightened about it constantly. It's brought my anxiety level, my general anxiety level has raised day to day. So I'm dealing with that, but I want to talk about it here with you and get you involved in my creative process. And let's see how this goes. Okay, so I'm in. I didn't know if I was going to get in because there was somebody kind of like outside, like a park ranger, or I didn't really look to see who it was, but there was somebody outside talking with somebody else, and I didn't know if they were going to allow me in because it's almost sundown, and I'm sure they shut this area down, but I am in. This is my first time here, and let's explore it together. So anybody who has walked through the woods before, I'm sure you're familiar with what this looks like. It may not look too exciting to you, but I don't get out that often and I enjoy coming into the woods. We had a lot of rain here last night, so there's all these puddles I gotta kind of watch out for, and it's actually kind of like damp and disgusting. So this should be a fun adventure. I gotta remember to talk to you about what's going on, because as much as I'm excited to like show you all of these things and explore with you, we're not here just to do that. I love these open areas where it feels like I'm in the middle of nowhere, even though I'm totally not. And I've got the bugs swarming by my face right now, so uncomfortable. But that's part of nature, right? This looked like a cool little place to stop and talk, right? With the little log behind me. I gotta be careful because if I point up at the sky, I noticed this last time I did this, you see what happens? The camera tries to adjust and I screw up the way it looks, so I'm going to try to keep it pointed away from the sky today so that doesn't bother us. But if you're new here and you don't know who the hell I am and what the hell I'm doing, my channel is about mental health, and I've been doing informational, educational videos about mental health, and they're good, but I don't think they're engaging, and what I want to do is engage people, so I'm trying to create a story now, and actually I've kind of admitted to myself I'm basically creating a web series here, which is a little crazy because I'm not a writer, I'm not an actor, and yet I'm going to take on this thing, and this seems really scary for me, and it's bringing on anxiety because I have a very big dream in my head and I don't know if I can actually execute on it. I am realistic and I know my limitations, so let's talk about those. One of my limitations in trying to create this mental health web series is that my room that I have to do it in is small. And it's also in a home that has like paper thin walls, and it's really hard to account for noise and to block things out. So I also have a cat, and she'll jump around and she'll eat and cough and sneeze. So I just have to kind of cut around that and figure out how I'm going to navigate that. But in this small room, the way I've been doing it now whenever I film in my room is I just sit on my bed and there's a backdrop behind me and it's all like one position stationary. Okay, so somebody went by me as I was talking there. I'm usually in a stationary position, and it's like the camera's in one place and that's about all I can do. So what I want to do for this web series is I want to have a group therapy meeting between a whole bunch of different characters that I'm creating, and I think that's going to be like the main draw of this show, is watching these people interact. And then I'm also going to have individual therapy sessions, I believe. I still haven't figured this out 100% how I'm doing this, but these are the ideas I'm tossing around in my head. With the group therapy room is going to be difficult because I don't have a room to actually have all of these people in, and not to mention I'm representing all of the people, so it's going to be awkward trying to make it look like they're talking to each other. And originally my idea was just to create characters and then have these like little things, these situations that they get in, but it wasn't necessarily going to be a rolling story. And then I thought, but how much cooler would it be to follow these people in therapy and to like learn about their problems and see how we can relate to them and the struggles that they're going through. So I came up with this kind of reality TV kind of feeling in my head of watching these people in group therapy interact, but then also seeing them in confessional type videos talking about the other people in the group, talking in individual sessions with the therapist to get a different perspective on things, I don't know, that just seemed more engaging to me, and I originally thought I was going to do something more comedic, and I do plan to still try to have some comedic elements, but I thought if we are talking about mental health, it could actually benefit me to be a little bit more dramatic and to build some suspense in the relationships and how people interact with each other, and I think that's a little more realistic anyway. So it's all just kind of like in this conceptual stage in my head. But in the process of conceptualizing it, it feels very big. It feels like way more than I can manage. I wrote out a bunch of the character names, and you know what? Let's keep walking and I'll get to that. Why don't we walk and talk together? So the characters that I've come up with, I'm not going to give away their names. I think I might put those up on Patreon for my patrons, and my Patreon patrons are helping me a lot here because this is going to cost me money to do. Everything I do on my channel pretty much costs me money at this point. When I want to do something that's not just me talking to a camera, because I buy props or I buy music. And so thank you to my patrons out there, and I think I will reward you by giving you some of the names of the characters and maybe a little bit about them. I really don't have much about them written yet, but I so far have, at least in the plans, somebody with borderline personality disorder, narcissistic personality disorder, social anxiety disorder, OCD, schizotypal personality disorder, depression, and I think that's it. Oh, and obsessive compulsive personality disorder, and I'm thinking of squeezing in somebody with dissociative identity disorder. Although that's going to be difficult only because then I'm kind of acting multiple parts in one person, which I know that's what people do with the disorder, although they're not acting, that's the thing. I'll actually be acting and I'll have to create all these different characters, so that's a little freaky, and I don't know. I just don't know, because again, it all sounds like a lot more work than I can muster up right now. So there's other people using the woods, and I have to be mindful, and I try not to talk when people are around because I get self-conscious. But let's see. So conceptualizing it feels big. It feels like more than I can do. I'm already considering, is there a way that I can rearrange my room, even though it's an incredibly small room, so that I can do more with it? Because if people are going to be sitting in therapy, it's kind of weird if I'm just sitting on my bed, because, I mean, you never see my bed anyway, but if I'm just sitting there without a chair back, it doesn't give you the feeling like I'm in therapy. So I either have to make you feel like I'm in therapy through the way that I'm acting, or I have to try to rearrange to make it look more realistic, or both. And that is a challenge that I just have to see what I can do, because I'm on limited resources here. What is this? I want to see what's going on over here. Kind of cool. So just the logistics of everything terrifies me. But besides the logistics, I'm also afraid of portraying these different disorders, because first of all, one person with the disorder never represents all people with the disorder, and I'm aware of that. But I'm also concerned because I'm not currently experiencing these disorders, and I haven't had all of these disorders, and so it's very awkward to try to portray something that you've never had, and I don't know what it's like to experience these things. And I try to learn from YouTube videos, from talking with you guys, but that doesn't mean that I fully get it, and I'm concerned about portraying it incorrectly or offending somebody, upsetting somebody, so I'm going to do my best not to do that. But it's, every time I think about it, I get afraid. Which way do I go? I've got options here. For the record, do not do this. When you're out in public, take your shit with you, please. There's no need to be littering and destroying the beautiful areas that we have. Just take it with you. It's not that hard. It's weird that I'm using Pokemon Go as my navigation system, right? I pull up the map and I'm like, okay, which direction am I facing? Where's the parking lot? So I talked a little bit about characters. As far as plot, like, I kind of know a little bit about the history of some of these characters already. It's really weird trying to flesh out people. This is probably the closest that I'm going to come to ever having like a child. so it feels like I care about these characters that I've never met before, and I'm trying to make them interesting and engaging to watch, and I want to give them stories that you'll want to know more about them. And in the process of creating some of the stories, I kind of see some plot points that I can put together and some ways that some of these people can interact with each other that would be interesting. So that's kind of exciting, but I don't know that I have it down perfectly. This is all new to me. I'm totally amateur, and so it's bringing up a lot of anxiety in me. It's interesting. I've been reading this book that I got at the thrift store. If you'll watch the episode that I did 2 days ago of this vlog here, I talked about getting some books, and one of the books was The Real Self by James Masterson. And in that book, he talks about how people with borderline and narcissistic personality disorder, and if you don't know that, I believe that I had borderline personality disorder. I self-diagnosed myself about 9 years ago, something like that. And so I think that's still in me. I think that you never fully get rid of a personality disorder, maybe in 10 or 20 years, but so I have, bringing up this creative stuff, it brings up that insecurity inside of me that comes with the personality disorder, because I find myself, whenever I want to try something out, looking for somebody else to validate me. And I want to like ask a friend, does this sound good? Is this okay? Or I want to like come on here and ask you. I actually was thinking, should I make this video about like asking for help? And I was even thinking, do I make a group asking for input? But that's not how I want to do this. I want to have creative control here. And of course, I'm welcome to hearing input, but I don't want to always be reaching out outside of myself, because then I'm not learning how to do this skill myself. So that's something interesting that's been coming up in learning to do all of this. Even using my little navigation system, I did not get it correct. So I'm heading back in the right direction, hopefully, so I can wrap this up soon. But it's really weird doing this. It's totally outside of my comfort zone. It's not part of my normal life to be a writer. I mentioned this in the last vlog that I did, that I in school I didn't do so well with that kind of stuff, but I'm kind of excited about the idea of these characters and the show, and I'm excited to see where it goes, but I'm also kind of wondering, like, is that like a false excitement? Like, I'm excited about this, but that doesn't mean other people are going to be excited about it, because, you know, I keep thinking about TV shows, and I'm like, well, there's a lot of TV shows that like I'll like, but they're not popular, or other people like TV shows that I'm like, why would you watch that? So I'm kind of wondering, is that what's happening here? But I think when it comes to YouTube in particular, there's a lot of opportunity to reach an audience that maybe it's a smaller audience. Maybe I'm not going to reach millions of people the way the TV shows do, but it's okay, because I don't have to support a TV network, and I don't have this budget and this cast and everything that needs to get paid at the end of the day. So I'm thinking, even if it's not like, doesn't do so well, this is just an experiment. I'm going to try it, see how it goes, and hopefully enjoy the process, learn some things about myself. You can learn with me. We'll discuss mental health topics, and actually, let me talk about that real quick. Okay, this trail is confusing me so much, but I'll make it out. We gotta get out before sundown. I wanted to originally do like educational stuff around this whole series that I'm planning, and I was thinking like maybe a term could come up in therapy, and then I could do like a one-off video explaining like, well, this is what happened to this character, and we use this term, and this is what this term means. And I don't know, because I don't want to lose the educational aspect of this channel, and I'm trying to figure out how to do that. That's something else you have to balance on YouTube, unfortunately. I need to get discovered, and part of the reason I'm doing this is to get discovered so that people enjoy it more and share it more and talk about it. But I still have to find a new audience, and a part of that plan is to get searchable. So I have to have keywords that people are searching for, and if I can get these one-off videos like explaining what some of the terms mean, then people might search for those terms, hear me talking about it, hear me talking about the web series, and then want to watch the web series. I don't know, this is just theoretical in my head. Would you want to see that? Leave me a comment, let me know. Let me know what you think of what I've been saying so far. I will do my best to put some character information up on Patreon once I get this all uploaded for you. And if you're new here and you want to follow me on this journey of creating this whole thing, subscribe. There will be much more to come, I promise you that. And thank you for watching. There's another deer. Apparently there's deer out here and I have no idea that they exist because I don't go out very often. There it goes. Well, I legitimately got lost. Don't use Pokemon Go as your navigation system. I'm using Google Maps now. It's really dark out in the woods, as you can see, which is where I just was. I will get home. Don't worry about me. But I thought it was kind of funny, so I wanted to let you know.